Hi everyone, Carolee here live from the DEVSummit 2026. We're very excited to have Satya here today from Capgemini, who's going to talk to us for a few minutes. Thank you for sponsoring the conference. So I've got some great questions. Tell us the truth, since I know that's the core of your name. Everyone is talking about generative AI and insurance. From your perspective, what's real today and what's still hype? And what is Capgemini doing in the generative AI space and Guidewire space today?
It's a long one, and thank you for having me here, and it's indeed great to be in the DEVSummit 2026, learning about the latest and greatest of Guidewire. When we look at generative AI, we are not just looking at it as a coding assistant. Yes, it's a great coding assistant, it helps us code faster, but I come from the agile coaching and training background, and it feels like deja vu to me. You know, we did sprints, we delivered code every 2 weeks, but it went to the customer a year later. And that's exactly what coding assistants are doing when it comes to AI. So we are looking at it more holistically. We are not saying no to coding assistant, but we are looking at the end-to-end lifecycle. So we are looking at tools that can help us automate the requirement analysis. We are looking at tools that can help us do some data generation. We talked about that today in the summit today, where Guidewire is also introducing something very similar. We are talking at tools that can make our testing faster, help the business understand what is missing, and that's how you bring the whole end-to-end picture. So when it comes to Guidewire, a lot of these tools that we are talking about, we have already reviewed with Guidewire, and we have got the feedback. The good feedbacks are obviously good. The ones where we need to improve, we are working on it. The intent is to make Guidewire more seamless. The intent is to make sure that we are able to deliver the value to our customers. I am not buying Guidewire as a customer just because it's in the market. I am buying Guidewire because I want to go faster to the market. If you look at the latest models, new frontier models are coming every quarter, even faster now. Now we cannot go back to the old ways when the implementation took a year. So we are looking at how do we do it end to end, how do we service our customers and give them the extra value that they are buying. And that's where we go ahead and ensure that Guidewire is giving the value. So generative AI is a great tool to have. There is always this human aspect that is also required. We are baking that into it. So when we are training our people, we are making sure they understand how to bake AI, not bolt AI. What we are now doing is bolting AI on top of our existing process. We as Capgemini have a firm belief and philosophy that we want to bake AI into the process so that everything becomes faster, and we go from what we call the old 2-week scrum to a 1-day deliverable or even faster. That's how the goal is, and that's what we are striving for.
That makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
Thanks for that. What skills will matter most for Guidewire professionals in the next 3 to 5 years?
Great question. In fact, if you look at the market today, we have config developers, we have in-tech developers, we have developers who know how to code in Utro and all of that. I think the future is not this. The future is somebody who understands business, who understands the customer's problems, and knows how to get into AI, how to put the right prompt and get the job done. The way we train our people, the way we groom our people, we want them to be a holistic individual who knows insurance. Yes, Guidewire is there. Guidewire is the platform that we are using to deliver the value, but they should not look at Guidewire as a single point of view. We always have this narrow perspective that I'm a rating developer or I know only this. We are trying to create people holistically who can understand it end to end, take that value to our customer, and then deliver it. So like we always say, it's the business that we are here for. We are not here to sell Guidewire. We are here to solve the business problem. And Guidewire is the tool. So we are using that methodology to ensure that the teams understand it. The future Guidewire developer is somebody who can talk to business, who can understand the problem, who understands how Guidewire can solve it, what changes are needed in Guidewire to deliver it, and then eventually deliver it. If you go by the term Palantir started with recently, which is the forward deployment engineer, it's the same thing that we have in our philosophy, and that's what I think is the future of a Guidewire developer. They are the ones who go to the customer, understand the problems, see Guidewire and see where we need to make a change, and then deploy it. That's where we see the future coming.
That's really insightful. So really what you're saying is you're taking your people and expanding their responsibilities.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a great point to mention, expanding the responsibilities, and that's where the mindset shift comes in. because people are used to the old ways of working. I mean, the old is not that old, but it's becoming obsolete very soon. And that's where we are seeing the future of Guidewire community, where people understand the business and deliver the business to our customers.
Thank you for that. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
How do you see the Guidewire marketplace evolving over the next few years?
It's a great question. I think Guidewire Marketplace has been a place where people would go to find out what others have done, what could help me reuse some of the concepts that people have tried, failed, and learned from it. I think that concept continues to stay, but it becomes better. It evolves into something which is more business focused. The way I see the future marketplace is there must be some agents. We talked about agents in the summit today. Those agents that are built by Guidewire. And then there would be custom agents that are built by us partners like Capgemini. And then eventually there might be agents which are specific to some customer. So I see marketplace evolving into something like an agentic marketplace with 3 layers: Guidewire agents, Capgemini or partner agents, and then the customer agents.
Right, so there might almost be a private marketplace the way that you're talking
Absolutely. The customer agents would be on their own systems. They would not be on the Guidewire side or the marketplace side, but Capgemini and the Guidewire marketplace would be what will have it. The way I look at it is it's going to be something which will look and add more value. Today we look at something where we see how do I reuse this component? How do I create an integration which has already been done? Tomorrow I look at it more holistically. How do I make my FNOL faster? How do I build an UI faster? So agents are going to evolve. Capgemini has always been a strong proponent of the marketplace. In fact, I think we are one of the top players when it comes to submission of things. I am sure that we'll continue that way. So we'll continue to support the way we do and keep adding the agents as we talk about. And these agents would be making the business go faster. So from a place which is typically used as a place I can get reusability, it will now become a place which will add more value. And that's how I see the marketplace evolve in the future.
That's great. I'm sure customers will love that answer as well.
I'm sure.
All right. With Guidewire releasing updates so frequently, how are you helping teams continuously adapt and stay current? And then I have a second part to that question,
Sure.
which is really like, how do you keep customers up to date? I know a lot of them are trying to keep going with the 3 release roadmap.
Yeah.
Trying to say, how do I can do my technical upgrade, but I'm not leveraging that business capabilities that are coming. So maybe a 2-part question.
Sure. I think, so if you look at the long term, it's eventually the future. Cloud is bringing in the faster upgrades and we are bound to do it. And if our people are not understanding it or learning it, it becomes difficult for them to do it. And more so, like the second question you asked, at least inform the customer that there is something out in the market that can help you. So it's not just implementation, it's also ensuring that it solves a business problem. We in Capgemini have the cloud instance that we use to train our people. So anytime there is a new release, we have dedicated programs where we make sure that our team of engineers understand what it is, what value that brings in. And we also make sure that we are always in the top tier when it comes to certifications. Yes, you can do theory, but also certifications matter. And on top of it, we also want to make sure we give them the hands-on. That's where the private cloud comes in, the one that we leverage to give the hands-on experience to our people. So once the upgrade is in, our team is enabled. That's when comes the second question that you asked, which is they now see certain problem in the past which they had to do manual changes. They can now go to the client and say, you know what, there's a new release coming in and this release has this particular feature that can solve your problem. So they are now enabled with the tools and techniques as well as the knowledge of this, practical hands-on knowledge of this, that they can go to our customers and talk to.
Plus, you already know what the customer's business imperatives are, so you
Exactly.
can tell them when to turn on and off some of the functionality.
Absolutely. So this creates the larger ecosystem where we understand the processes, we understand the upgrades that are coming in, and eventually take it to our customers and suggest the right fit. It should never be a force fit that Guidewire launched a new thing, let's go ahead and do it. That's something people do, but they're not going to get the value out of it. The moment they realize their problem is being solved with this particular update or new thing that is coming in, that's when they see the real value that Guidewire brings in, the value that Capgemini brings in by getting the right tool for the right problem. So this combination is what helps us as well as our customers, not just get the upgrades in, but also solve the problem that they're facing. So that's how I see it.
Sounds good. All right, one bonus question in the end.
Perfect.
A lot of engineers are worried AI might replace their jobs.
Absolutely.
What advice would you give professionals building their career in insurance technology? I know we have a lot of folks that are doing a hackathon from the universities here. They're going to be showing that right now. So what kind of a career advice would you give folks coming into the industry?
It's a good point. I think the way I look at it is with AI coming in, it's our thought that is the blocker. AI can do a lot of things. It's about us, how we can conceive the problem, how we can see a solution, and how we can leverage AI to solve it. But the flip side of it is customers, our people, our developers might become overly reliant on AI. A developer in the past used to do a lot of things manually, and through that, that person would learn a lot of things. And that's what becomes the core of that person, the belief, the domain. It's all getting lost because the people are now focusing only on AI. So what I recommend people is, number one, do the jobs get lost? Maybe yes, maybe no. I'll talk about it in a minute. But if you look at the larger picture, I should not be overly reliant on AI. Domain knowledge is absolutely crucial. Knowing what Guidewire features are is absolutely crucial. Then comes the third part, how do I get it done through AI? So if you're understanding the first two well, which is I know my domain very well, I know what Guidewire as a capability is available for me, that's the thing that I take across and then use AI. So would AI take away jobs? Maybe yes, but I always give this acronym, give this scenario. When autopilots came, do you think the pilots lost their job? The answer is no. In fact, there are more planes flying right now than what it was a few years back. I have the same analogy out here with AI. A lot of new customers who are not in Guidewire or not in insurance doing manually, they will now start picking AI. They will now start picking Guidewire. So the number of jobs would increase. So would Guidewire be losing jobs? Would people be losing jobs? The answer is no. Would there be more jobs? The answer is yes. But who would be the one having a job in the future? It's that person who understands the domain, who understands Guidewire, and then can leverage AI to get the problem solved. So if you are enhancing yourself as a developer and becoming that person who has functional knowledge, technical knowledge in Guidewire, and can use AI, you absolutely have a job. And that job will thrive, in my view.
Awesome.
That's how I look at it.
Well, that's it for us from the DEVSummit. Satya, thank you very much for Capgemini. Thank you for sponsoring.
Thank you.
And look forward to our next conversation.
Absolutely, Carolee. Thank you for having me here.
All right. Thank
Great.
you.